Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to start, so if you could put your seats in the upright position and all your tray tables back, that would be great. First and foremost, hello, welcome. There's a few new people tonight, a few newies, a few recent returns as well, a few people that have come back after a long thing, and we got a really lovely crowd. So thank you and welcome to Flat Earth number 36. Can you believe? So there you go. Now, before we start tonight's with our guest, I've got a couple of things I want to say. A few things I need to say. Firstly, last weekend was an incredibly important event that happened for the Flat Earth community. For those of you that went, and there are a few here, Jasper, Martin, Julie, myself, we also had a couple of other Flat Earth social people go. We all went to Spain. We all went to Alex Michael's house, who is conspiracy music guru. He was with us in April 2 years ago at our old place. He did a live stream with us. Now, Alex Michael is he's a musician, he's a top producer, he's a really, really great guy. And it started off a few months back where him and his mate said, do you know what, we'll have a party, we'll have a get together, we'll have a celebration of Flat Earth. And it was insane. He sent some invites out and we all went. And there was a few people there, apart from the people I've mentioned, and another good half a dozen people that come to Flat Earth Social also attended. I think they were Patreons and got the invite that way. However, there was Alex Michael was there. David Weiss flew over from America. I was, bizarrely enough, having drinks and smoking weed with Dr. Andrew Kaufman, which is the most surreal thing that you will ever do. Dawn Lester, who's going to be, and here, both Dawn and Andrew Kaufman are going to be here next year, doing our bits out. Absolutely incredible. Mike Wilkerson, anybody know Mike Wilkerson? Stellium 7 is his channel. Unbelievable fella. Absolutely incredible meeting these people, because I found out that he was the first person in the world to be jailed for hacking. Right, so we were like, oh, you're a legend like this. Excellent guy. He broke into Microsoft and a few other things. Didn't steal anything, but just did, you know, what he had to do. Who else was there? Martin Liedker. No, Martin Liedker. So a lot of people went over there. Anybody know Belle? She's been to a few of these. Right. Let me tell you something about Belle. What an angel that girl is. She came over on Sunday. Sorry. She came over on the Sunday and she brought a guitar. And on the Sunday at the Spain thing, people were just, you know, it was like a jam session. She stood up, she took the thing, and she sat there and she played, and no one said a word. Let me tell you, when you see her next time, she's the most talented musician I think I've seen for a long time. So, yeah, well done, Belle, Flat Earth Social member, just so you know. Right, nearly there. I've got Sean screaming at me. The hour's starting. Right, a couple of other things while I'm here. Apart from the Spain thing, one other thing happened. Do you remember the history of AI, Flat Earth, that I did through the Flat Earth Social channel? It has been nominated for an award, I think, at the NanoCon Film Festival. Absolutely bizarre. No. I'm not after praise or anything like that. I just can't believe it as much as you can't believe it. So by October the 4th, I might have to go to Washington and collect my award. Not holding my breath. Right, next month we have Guy Anderson is coming back here in person. Fantastic guy. He was with us last time. He's going to do his new book, Rise of the Cabbage Patch Clone something. So we look forward to that. Let me think. Any more? Probably not. So what we're going to do without further ado is we are going to he says very tentatively.
Recording in progress.
Please welcome Sean Hibbeler.
How's everyone doing?
Sean, how you doing? I'm trying to switch the cameras over. I'm not doing very well. I think.
No worries. Hey, there they are.
Right, he's right there. You go, guys.
Hello on that side of the pond across the plain. Nice to meet everybody.
Sean, thanks for coming and doing this for us tonight. We've got to start off with a little bit about yourself, which I'm going to let you do in a minute. But before we get cracking, it's been a busy time in America in the last few months or so. Charlie Kirk, talk to us about Charlie Kirk.
You know, I was not one to ever really watch him to begin with. But at the same time, when it happened, like most people, when it happened, I'm like, holy crap. I mean, geez, they just did like, and the weird part about it is every time I open my social media, it was just there for everybody to see. I'm like, when does this ever happen? It's usually they censor, they blur it, they ban it. Something like that's not fed so easily. I mean, I couldn't open any app without seeing it. And because I saw it so much, I was like, something's off here. Something is off. And I didn't really go back to the drawing board of it all, investigating it like I always do with things until I saw his wife's eulogy. And me and my wife, who's, by the way, from Blackpool, Blackpool in the house. So, yeah, we watched the eulogy and you know, and I wasn't even expecting it to be that fake. And, you know, and I'm watching the eulogy and I'm like, I just look at my wife. I'm like, and she's like, what is going on? I'm like, oh my God, is this fake? I'm like, what? Why is there no, like, I thought I was going to be emotional during that. And all I did, it was just red flags. I'm like, she's acting. Why is she acting? Why is she wiping fake tears? Nothing's coming out, lady. You're in 4K. We can see nothing's coming out of your eye ducts. I don't, not sure what's going on. If he just got murdered yesterday, what? Like I just buried my brother about a month ago, 45 years old from obesity. The reason I bring that up.
Sorry, Sean.
Of course. Yeah, he brought it on himself, but it's still very shocking and sad. But, you know, his best friend read it, his eulogy at the funeral. And his best friend is like The Rock, you know, I mean, just a complete alpha male musclehead and always been tough, you know, never seen him cry in my life, but he couldn't get through the second sentence is my point, right? And this is a grown man, alpha male. You would expect he can hold his emotions for one script and speech, you know, and he couldn't get through it. And we had to get him off the stage, which is normal. No one's like, oh, what a pussy. No one's going to do that during that moment. But and I'm not trying to be sexist, but a woman who just saw her husband get brutally murdered is on live TV the next day, and she's just, I mean, it was an act. I mean, once I saw that, I go, okay, let me go back to the drawing board here and see exactly what's going on. Because when you have emotions high, you can't use logic. Logic's gone. You don't have logic if emotions are running through your veins, right? And I think we all emotionally, whether you like Charlie or not, or watched him or not, I never watched him, but it's still an emotional thing when you see it for the first time. Like, geez, man. And it was just an emotional time for everybody. And then I went back to the drawing board logically and said, okay, I have no emotions now. Let me just look around. And it's just a plethora of false. It's just a false flag. It's to me, it was a Masonic ritual. There's a lot of masonry stuff involved here with her rings and the casket and the one button open on the mannequin, and the whole thing is rigged, in my opinion. It's one of those things where it's so talked about in America on every station, on every podcast, from Rogan on down. How do you have this conversation that I'm having with them, you know, because they're just, oh my God, you're one of those guys. It's like, what, someone that thinks with their brain? Yeah, I mean, this, you know.
How dare you?
Dare you? Yeah. It's one of those things where it's always comes to the why, you know, same thing with flat earth. That's always the first thing. Why would they do this? What do you mean here? You know, and it's like, what do you mean why? They've been doing it for forever. I mean, since the TV was invented, they've been faking things and messing with people's emotions. And what they wanted in America was this left versus right. You know, they want us to fight. You guys know that. They want us all fighting while they do stuff in the background. And America was waking up, especially to stuff about Israel and all this thing. America was just getting out of control for them, in my opinion. And I think personally, that when they tried to fake the Trump assassination, because that was terribly.
I forgot to mention that one. Sorry.
I'm saying that was terribly staged. It was that was different. When my wife came up to me that day when it happened and said, "Look what just happened to Trump," I look at the Trump thing and instantly I go, "Well, that's fake." I go, "Man, was that fake?" I go, I don't think they were trying to make it that fake. I mean, Revelation of the Meth is at an all-time high right now, but that was like, come on, really, man? Like, and then you get up and do this, like, come on. So I think personally that they can I swear? I won't swear. They effed up. They effed up the Trump thing. Okay, they effed it up completely. They messed it up. It didn't go as planned. Not everything that they do, they're not perfect. Okay, they're demons, but they're not perfect, of course. So they messed up the Trump thing, and that's why they had to quickly do another one where no one saw any footage. They're like, another assassination attempt at Mar-a-Lago and this, that. It's like, yeah, any footage of anything? No. Any evidence? No. It just happened, though. There was a second attempt, we swear. That didn't really do well here in America. Everyone was like, yeah, BS. So I think this Charlie Kirk thing was strategically planned out because they're like, we gotta do something better, bigger, bring some Hollywood blood bags in, do whatever we gotta do. Because, this didn't work. The left and the right are not trying to kill each other here. And with this Charlie Kirk big push, I mean, that really got the left and right going in America, and which is obvious. This is what they wanted, but it's very quickly kind of changing where people are kind of going, yeah, I think there's more to this now. So I think eventually it's going to get to the point where everybody's in my boat. It's just going to take a while because there's some people that they knew him, and that's the thing with the feelings and the emotion. It's like, I met him. It doesn't matter if you met him. It doesn't matter if he took a picture with you. They staged this. Just because you met someone doesn't mean that he couldn't be a conspiracy. Like who, but yeah, I don't know. I don't buy it. Again, I bought it the first few hours. Sure.
I remember the hats, the 3 baseball caps, the 11, 11, 11 for the 33,
yeah,
and a couple of other notable issues there with the chair on the stage, which seems to glitch in and out of insanity.
Yeah, just like morphs into yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't think if you really look at that with an open, I mean, and who does an open casket video like that? Nobody does.
I'll tell you,
what's the yellow hands there?
If someone was filming at my brother's funeral, they would have been tossed out on their ass right away. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't care if it was Aunt Cheryl, you're out of here. It doesn't matter. You're not filming this. It's disrespectful. Now, granted, even if Erica Kirk wanted it filmed, it's like, that's weird to begin with, right? But at the same time, oh, baby, it's just like the whole was like, I'm like, what are they? And then it became to a point where I'm like, are they really doing this on purpose? Because it's that bad right now. It's so bad. And then you look back at Erica Kirk and who she is and where she came from. And it seems like she's been a part of this Trump cabal for a long time with just the person Trump is, with bringing women in from, probably trafficked situations. And I mean, she was posing half naked in front of like Trump posters and stuff. Like her whole, I never even heard of her up until this. I had no idea who she is. But then I look back and I see this country music video. I don't know if you guys saw that yet. That's big right now in America. There's a country music video from 12 years ago. I'll tell you guys what it's called just so you guys can look at it later. But Erica Kirk's in it. And actually, let me see if I can play this.
I'll just do a quick show of hands. Does anybody think Charlie Kirk died?
All right. So watch at the end here.
Okay, what?
Watch, she's at, look at 9:10. You see that? It's going to come back 9. There's September 10th in the music video.
Wow.
Focusing on it. And these are just Masonic rituals they do. They tell you ahead of time, as you know. So, and there's a lot of stuff coming out about Erica. And that one was a big one for me because I know how they do these things. And, people are like, oh, well they're going to plan something like this 12 years ago. Yeah. They plan stuff 50 years in advance. They don't 12 years ain't nothing compared to the stuff I found out that they've planned 12 years. So I think they just brought her in to the cabal, to the crew, to do who knows sexual stuff. I don't know. I don't know what she's been doing since day one, but at the same time, they're like, hey, we got an idea for these political analyst type of thing because we're going to choose. I think they just chose Charlie. Hey, you're going to be our guy, pro-Israel. You're gonna go out there and do what we tell you to do. And Charlie Kirk is, I love Netanyahu. He's the greatest leader. I mean, I've heard this coming out of his mouth. So it's a part of this system where they utilize these characters. I don't even think Charlie Kirk is his real name. And I think that they changed his name to Charlie Kirk. These bastards do this stuff. They changed his name as a character because of the movie Snake Eyes. It was Charlie Kirkland. There's a movie with Nicolas Cage called Snake Eyes. Yeah. Watch that movie. Charlie Kirkland, the character in the movie, Charlie Kirkland, I can't make this up, gets shot in the neck. Can't make that up. And the guy that shoots him's name is Tyler. So again, and the front cover of the movie, he's doing this thing with his hand. The thing that Elon and Trump always do when they're sitting down. He's doing that. That's the front cover of the movie. And I just think that they do these things all the time where they're like, okay, we're not going to call you Charlie Kirkland. We're going to call you Charlie Kirk, but we're going to do this Snake Eyes thing in a few years from now. And I think that they just either Charlie knew that they were bringing Erica in for the PSYOP, not the real wife, never saw any pregnant pictures. It's another Michael Obama situation, no pregnancy. You got 2 kids, but there's no pregnancies. There's no newborn photos, right? They're just kids show up all of a sudden. There's more to it. I try not to lose any time over it. I've kind of moved on from Kirk, and it's nice to know the truth. But then, for me, I just move on because they want you obsessed with this, and there's other things to do in the world to help the world. None of this. I mean, I'll talk about Charlie Kirk all day. I go on shows all the time. I was just on Sam Tripoli's tinfoil hat talking about climate trails, and I knew Charlie was going to come up at some point, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure what you guys think, but I'm about to go in because I'm not one to pretend on a show like, oh yeah, rest in peace. But I'm like, dude, it's all fake. I'm not going to go along with the narrative. And luckily their show was kind of beyond open-minded, but also we're asking questions like, yeah, they don't believe the official story. So I was telling them, the amount of blood that came out of his neck was very limited. Okay. If you have a blood bag, if you're wearing, cause my buddy that's done a lot of short films in LA, not a conspiracy person, called him, hey man, Charlie Kirk XYZ. And he's like, yeah, it's messed up. I go, but answer me this. You've done horror movies. I'm like, is that not something that they could do with a squib? Is there, he's like, yeah, I've done that. He goes, I never thought about that. I'm like, well, answer me this. How long does that last? He goes, well, 10 seconds at the most. And then it's dry. I go, oh, okay, that makes sense because it's splurting out. They quickly push him down. He didn't fall. They pushed him on the ground. And quickly they surround him, all his whole crew, and they quickly carry him to the SUV. Well, we got a shot of the SUV where they're hauling him in. There's no blood trail. And that, to me, that's the number one false flag I bring to anybody in this event is there'd be blood all over the ground as they're carrying him. There'd be blood everywhere, and there's zero. So right there, it's like, what did he bleed out in 6 seconds? That's a record. I've never heard of that. He had 6 seconds of blood in his neck, I guess. That thing will be shooting out for, in my estimation, at least 5 minutes. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but at least 5 minutes he's bleeding until he bleeds out maybe. But at the same time, 10 seconds is not a long time, guys. And that's about how much I counted. And actually, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. It's probably 7 seconds of blood coming out. And by the time he's on the ground, no one can see him now. Nobody can see him anymore. And obviously the camera's behind him, and no one's going to see those angles. Because the reason they quickly took all that down, in my opinion, is because they don't, and those people should be in jail. That's tampering with evidence. They literally should be in American prison right now. There's no caution tape, no police came, no ambulance came. And the very next day, they're digging up the site. Why are they digging it up? Because now no one can inspect it. No one can see that. We all know, well, it's not like we've seen with our own eyes, but we can kind of fathom what blood would look like stained on concrete, right? That's a dark color. That's stain. You ain't getting that out. It's not easy. So they didn't want, in my opinion, they didn't want people coming back to the crime scene to see that there's no blood stains, you know, because if it's fake blood, it's going to be on top of the concrete. It's going to be like a gel type of looking formula, right? And then someone could have just scooped that and tested it. There's no blood. So they quickly, like the next day, they're digging the site up, which is again tampering with evidence. No caution tape, nothing. I mean, it's the whole thing's weird. But I'm glad that there's a room full of people that don't think I'm crazy for saying all this. That makes me feel.
Not at all. It sort of brings me nicely on to there was a video put out that Charlie Kirk is definitely not a flat earther or a truther. That's for sure. He was asked if he's a flat earther. He completely denies it and says it's a globe. But apart from that, it sort of makes us move into what's happening in America. Right now in the UK, we've got the threat of digital ID, perhaps another outbreak. It's almost chaos in this country right now. People aren't sure what to do. What is the deal in America as far as that's concerned? Because we're about to all be tracked, and places like Florida are not doing any mandates. They're banning chemtrails. They're doing this. They're doing that. I mean, obviously, we'll come to the chemtrails in a minute, but as far as America as a whole, how is the digital ID and tracking issue going with your people, as it were?
Well, it's called the Real ID out here. And I don't know too much about it. I already declined it, right? Like, so I left California, thank God. I left California last year and came to Texas. And when I came to Texas, I still got my California driver's license, which expires next year. So, but I went there. I'm like, yeah, I might as well update my driver's license. And I'm about to go through the process, and they're like, well, you need a real, we give you real ID. I'm like, oh, I don't want that shit. I'm like, no real IDs here, please. They're like, no, you have to. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, you can't give me a regular driver's license anymore? They're like, no. I'm like, all right, F you. I'm going to keep my California license until it expires. They're like, well, we'll see you when it expires. You're going to get a real ID. I said, I guarantee this country stands up. And by the time my driver's license expires next year, there's going to be a ban on it, that we're not going to put up with this crap. But I don't know. And I don't even know if the real ID is technically the digital ID. I don't know what's involved in it. I do know that a fingerprint is involved. But that's as far as I know right now. It's a fingerprint and the signature involved, which has never happened with a driver's license. You just sign in America.
Yeah, I mean, we're being sold it as it's got to protect us from immigration. That's the first one, and the second one is you've got to have it to work, to stop what they're going to say is illegal workers.
Yeah, no, you guys have.
We have already loads of those different things, right? We have national insurance number, driving license, passport. So it's clearly a digital ID rolled out called the BRIC card, which they're going to be, I guess, we've all done the research for it to be linked to your vaccine dosage and whether you can travel, whether you can't, all of those things. I wasn't even sure that in America they were doing the same thing, but you've got something called Real ID.
Yeah, but as of now, I haven't done it, but as of now, present day, it's only a fingerprint in terms of what they're adding to that equation. Like, what's a real ID? It's basically you're registering your fingerprint to your driver's license, and again, that's just the starting point. I mean, they're going to be probably by the time, we're probably all like, pretend I went through and did it. Who knows is the point. I'm like an email right now saying you got to come in and give us your checking account number now and give us this or you lose your license. So I think that what America does in the process is they start very small. They get everyone accepting that there's something new. And then once everybody accepts it, now they start drilling everybody with, you have to do this, this, and this, or you lose your license. So you might have to submit something on a form or your license expires, because I'm not surprised that they do that. But as of right now, no, America is not doing anything like a digital type of thing with all this information and vaccines and all this. No, that's not going on here, especially states like Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Montana. You're just, there's just certain states in America, you're not getting that. You're not going to get away with that here. There's just certain California.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I'm wondering if they're so desperate to get us to fight, to cause trouble, so that they can put their martial law in and their big boom. I think they're so desperate, they're using every trick in the book that we can do it, including immigration, etc. So yeah, it's a complete shit show here right now.
I didn't.
We've got the flat earth social, though, you know, bit of sanity in it.
Let me throw this in. I forgot to add this to the real ID. So my remember, I still have my California one, and I don't like showing it in Texas. God, do they hate California? So I try not to show it ever. If I'm not carded ever, but just the point. But the one thing that they changed in America is my California driver's license. I can't fly with it anymore. So when I go, because I travel all the time, and now it's only real ID or your passport. Mm. So I have a passport. Another reason why I'm not, conforming to that is I got my California license. It hasn't expired. Actually, I'll be honest with you, when it does expire, I don't give a shit. I don't get pulled. I don't get pulled over. If I did, and they're like, this one's expired, I'll pay your ticket. I'm not giving into this. I'll pay your little $100 ticket because it's expired. I'm not going to jail. I'm not getting towed. So if I get the rare chance that I get pulled over in the next, say, 10 years, I haven't been pulled over in 10 up to this point, the last 10. So the rare chance I get pulled over in the next 10 years and my California license is expired, they give me a ticket. I'll pay it and I'll move on. I'm also not going to go. I got to run to the DMV and get my real ID. I'm not doing that because I have faith in this country that within a year or two, it's going to be, they're going to just like the COVID stuff and all the stuff in these states, they're just like, we're not doing this anymore. We're getting rid of it. So I think it's going to be a matter of time before America pushes back and we have regular driver's licenses again. That's just my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm not giving in either way. As long as the airline, that's the one scary thing is the airlines. I have to travel. I'm a filmmaker. I can't stay home. So, if the airlines come forward and go, by the way, starting next month, real IDs only, no more passports. I don't think that would happen. That sounds so odd to begin with that I think the whole country as a whole would push back as, what do you mean you don't accept passports anymore? Well, how could you not accept a passport when you're traveling? So I think I'm safe in that route where my passport that I have will always work to travel on a plane. So it just comes down to being forced into a real ID. Well, yeah, I guess when my California driver's license expires, I'm supposed to be forced at that point, but I don't play by their rule book anyway. So not gonna.
Sure. Listen, the reason you're here, apart from the great conversation, is looking behind you there, all of the films you've done, or some of the films you've done, including Old World Order, which a lot of us are all in, by the way. Sean, Climate Trails, wow. It had to be done. You've got a unique perspective on it, Sean, so I'm just going to let you take the floor and tell us all about it. But before we do, there is a trailer, so I don't know if any of you have seen the trailer. You can buy the film. The film is available to buy now, but general release on Amazon at the end of the month. But for now, Sean, tell us all about it, please.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we've submitted it to Prime. This is the first time we've done this. Generally speaking, we have a budget. We get executive producers involved in the truth community. Like Flat Earth Millionaire is one of them, Tanner Stewart. I said, okay, we had a couple investors and, the budget was like around $100,000 to do the full film. Equipment, traveling, rental cars, hotels, you name it. It adds up quick. So that was around the budget and we're just renting it out to make that back. No one's profiting off this whatsoever. As soon as the EPs are paid back, what they put in, it's free everywhere. We haven't gotten there yet. It's going to take time. But yeah, I mean, it was an experience for me because, I know about chemtrails. I've known for over 10 years about them. And I made a short film, like a compilation type of video years ago on YouTube called Look Up, which did really well until they took it down, of course. So it was one of those things where, I'm like, how can I wake up the masses? I mean, there's no reason to make a film on chemtrails for the people that know that there's chemtrails. It doesn't make, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't like to cater to my own audience. I like to reach outside the box and go, how can my neighbor understand this? Like what's my neighbor doing? Right. I don't know who he is, but it's just making the example. what is he doing on a Friday night? Well, he's going to Prime and he's renting a PDF file backed Hollywood movie. And I'm like, yeah, this is what everyone does in America, at least. I mean, they just go to Amazon, watch their documentaries, watch their movies, spend their money. It's what they do. It's that there's value in purchasing something, guys. If you're like, hey, it's free on YouTube, then it's no big deal. It's like, yeah, I'll get to it. No big deal. But if it's like, hey, you can rent it on Prime, they're like, oh, yeah. And they rent it, then they'll pause it when they pee. You know why they pause it when they pee? Because they purchase it. There's value to it. They don't treat it as something free on YouTube, which can be a conspiracy, loony, stupid thing, and then they don't take it seriously. It's weird, but I've done these tests over the years. But this is the first time we're approaching Prime, and I feel confident. I mean, we got the email saying that it should be as early as October 22nd. Which is my wife's birthday. So it'd be a great birthday for her if that can get released on Prime for the world, because then marketing becomes easier. Hey, now on Prime, I could be I'm never there, but I'm just an example. I could be at a bus stop, you know. They don't need to know I'm the filmmaker. It's just, did you guys go on Prime and watch movies ever? I just saw this documentary. I can't sleep. It's called Climate Trails. It's on Prime. It's about what the geoengineering, they're spraying stuff in our skies, and you just plant that seed. It's as much as you don't think so. It's much different than saying go to climatetrails.com. It's much different. The brain doesn't. No one's going to do that. The masses don't go to websites and rent movies, and they don't do that. And I've lived all these films behind me besides Climate Trails. Everything I've made, which there's way more films than what's behind me. It's always on a website. It's always on a website, and then we make it free on YouTube and all that stuff. And even then, they'll take it down. They took Old Order down after like 400,000 views. They took it down. No reason, of course. And I said, okay, we're going to have to try to switch things up here. So I picked the topic of geoengineering because it's not a conspiracy in America. There's 34 states now that are on the verge of banning it. And I think 3 already have. I know for sure Tennessee and Florida did. Completely banned. And there's felonies involved if you get caught doing it as well. It's not just $100,000 fines. It's felony charges as well. At least Florida did that. I think Tennessee's right behind them on getting their bill updated. But how can Amazon Prime not accept it? You know, this is misinformation. It's not misinformation. I actually have the guy, Monty Fritz, the state rep in Tennessee, the first man I can probably say in the world, obviously, to get this banned. His whole team got it banned, and Tennessee passed it. So they're the first state to ban geoengineering, and he's the main guy. So I sat down with him in this film. I sat down with Kristen Megan, who's a military whistleblower who was involved in doing this stuff. And she even tells her story that she thought this is the dumbest conspiracy and offensive when she started hearing about it 12 years ago, because she's like, this is my job. Like, what do you mean? My job in the military, in the Air Force, is to make sure that the human population is not getting poisoned by what we're doing up there. So she was offended by it. And then she finally started digging around, and she's like, oh, shit, we are doing it. And then she did her own samples, and she was like, I got to leave. And when she was up to re-enlist in the military, she ran. And she's been blowing the whistle ever since. She's one of the biggest activists, in my opinion, in the last 10 years in America, Kristen Megan. And she's been blacklisted from everything you can imagine for talking, for whistleblowing. And she actually got granted whistleblower status by the American government. So she's a real whistleblower. I also have Francis Mangels in this film, who's a 30-year biologist in America, specifically Mount Shasta, California, when they started changing, everything started changing in California. And he, since day one, was sampling the soil, the rain, everything. He gave me binders. I still haven't gone through them all. That's how big they are. All his life's work. Because he was on the verge of dying of cancer when we were actually sitting down with him. So he barely had the energy to get the interview done. And I'm glad that he still had enough energy for us. It was sad. Of course, I didn't know the situation when we drove all the way there. It was like 7-hour drive from the airport. And his caretaker came on. He's like, he's barely moving, but he's been looking forward to this all month. You've made his life. Like, he cannot wait to do this. And I'm like, oh, he's dying. I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, but I was going to dedicate the film to him, but he's still here. He's still holding on. So that's good. But he's stage 4 cancer, and he talks about that a little bit in the film, but he's he told, and I didn't know this either, but in the film, like while we're filming, he's like, I got beat up 3 times for this, literally beat up 3 times because they're like, shut your mouth about this. And he could barely get these stories out, and we had to take a lot of breaks. He's so weak. But I'm sitting here like, man, this guy's a true hero, and he's he's done it for 30 years. And now it's only been maybe 15 years of the chemtrail thing that but he's proven it over and over again. He's tested the rainwater before they really started heavily spraying California. The rainwater, the legal limit, or the supposed legal limit, supposed average limit on aluminum in rainwater and soil, I believe, or no, I think this was the rainwater test. I think he said that it was like 0.05 milliliters of aluminum, something like that, right? That's like the limit, right? And he was getting 64,000. And it's all there. And he's losing his mind along the way. Like, what are they doing? And then he kind of put 2 and 2 together with these X's that just sit over the mountains for a whole day and spread out. And then the rain comes down, he tests it, and he's like, what is going on? So here's another good one. Now, Justin Harvey's in this as well. Justin Harvey is a Floridian. Justin Harvey was in, if you guys seen Level With Me, he was the one that went up to the astronaut, and we secretly had his mic on. And Justin's great, man. Justin is a city council type of guy. He goes in and makes changes locally, which affects each state. Now, he's in Florida. He actually, I think it's more single-handedly team with him, but the reason Florida right now is the only state in America to ban fluoride, there's no more fluoride in the water. Across the board, all water tanks, it's all eliminated in Florida. You can go to any sink. And I don't even know the last time I drank sink water, probably when I was 5. So you go to any sink in Florida and run the tap water or bath water. There's no fluoride anymore, guys. So it's gone. And he's the main reason. So I flew from Texas because I'm like, hey, Florida already is banning geoengineering. Come to my state. And he came to my state and did a great job at a local city council. We filmed the whole thing. We came in with the film. Like that's legal. They don't expect that. They don't like that, but you can't do nothing to us. This is a public building. So we came in with the real film crew, and we filmed him speaking to a local place in Texas here, and they weren't thrown back by it. I mean, the way he did it was so strategic. I want copycats to do that locally, which is why we put this in the film. We also have a lady named Catherine Sari. She went viral about 9 months ago, maybe, at least in America, where she was questioning the chemtrail pilots back and forth. She secretly recorded them. I don't know if you guys saw that, but she actually went up to these. She followed them, but she explains how to do this now. There's an app on your phone. I think it's called Flight Radar or something. So if you see, I don't know, where you get British Air.
You can't see them on there, Sean. You can't see any of the chemtrail planes on Flight Radar, even though we can't see it in the UK. I can't see. I've not been able to see them myself personally. I've seen the ones where they do the patterns, the crazy patterns.
Well, that's a chemtrail pilot.
Yeah, fine, but I've tried to look at the ones that are going straight across, and you can't see them. They're not listed on Flight Radar.
Really?
I honestly, if you look, you can see a plane that's doing it locally in your area. You just watch it and then go on Flight Radar, and the plane's not there. You'll see the ones that do those silly up and down motions all the time. And I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming they're for chemtrails or for holding patterns, but I've tried it myself and I can't see them. Maybe I'm doing something wrong.
Or maybe it's the UK.
Maybe. Has anybody else done that?
Yes.
Have you been able to find them?
Yeah.
No. Oh, some haven't, some have. Yeah, it's mixed. Yeah, it's mixed. Yeah, some have, some haven't. I think the ones that show up that go backwards and forwards all the time, you can see. But whether they're chemtrailing or not is a different matter. But the ones that come from left to right, right to left, wherever,
Well,
I can't find them on Flight Radar. So it might just be a UK thing.
Well, that's the thing. In Texas, there's not a lot of spraying going on, but when they do, yeah, it's on there. It's on there. And I get to see their whole path of their contracted zone that they're supposed to spray that day. So, but the reason I brought that up is because that's how she did it. So in California, where she lives, beautiful part of California, I didn't even know existed. I was like, okay, California's not too bad now, but away from the big cities, it could be very beautiful and very peaceful too. But she showed me what she did because this guy was beaming that area back and forth. And then she's like, you know what? I'm tracking them. I can see. You go to the FAA registration website, put in their plates. You see you see everything, all the information, who owns it, who's the pilot, everything. And we kind of give that step by step in the film on what she did, so you can copy that. But she knew where he was landing. I think it was Modesto, California airport, very small airport, not like a big one where you're, flights all day, all night. Very small. I think it's all private. And she used to be a former jet stewardess. So she knows kind of the lingo. She kind of knows how to blend in as a stranger. So she walked in with like documents. I think they were just BS, just something in her hand, And she's like, I got to give these to the pilots, but she knows the lingo. So she's just talking and they're like kind of looking like, well, yeah. And then she interrupts the guy. Can I use the bathroom? The bathroom's over there. And, she goes in and walks right on the terminal, walks right up, a very small terminal, but walks right up to the pilots. Now she puts her phone in her pocket, unfortunately. Her buddy, she got the whole conversation recorded and their reaction, put it this way, you would expect the pilots to be like, what are you talking about, aluminum? What do you mean? We're not spraying aluminum. We're not spraying, what do you mean? Like they're just kind of in defense mode the whole time. Like, well, that's not our department. You got to talk to the boss. They're not denying anything. And she's just grilling them. And she's like, and I think at one point she said something like, no, they said, well, the public knows about it. So whatever. And she's like, no, the public doesn't know about this. They don't, but we're going to make it so they do. And you're done, and like what we want out of putting that in the film and having her speak about it, I want copycats. I want people to do the same damn thing. I want eventually where every airport has 100 to 1,000 people showing up every time these pieces of crap land. And eventually it's going to get to the boss and the owner. Now, then we find out that the owner of that that plane, the company that's contracted with them is called Weather Modification Incorporated. Whoa, what a name. What a name. Wow. It's just right there in the name. Weather Modification. It's like they're not even hiding it, man. But that's the thing. No one knows that the corporation's called that because no one does the research. No one does the due diligence to get to that point to know who they are. But as soon as you do, you're like, oh. So I went on Weather Modification Inc. I actually put this in the film. I think there's a lady called Ariana Masters, who's a social media personality. He's got a lot of followers and stuff. So I threw her in the film because she does a great job with these NextRad towers and HARP and all of the frequencies they're beaming at the atmosphere at all times, atmosplane, but you know what I mean? So she mentioned in the film about job applications with Weather Modification Inc. So I'm like, okay, at first I'm like, yeah, I don't believe her, but all right, when I get back to the editing room, I hope she's right because I'll definitely include that. And man, was she right. I went to Weather Modification Inc.'s website, official website. Job application, boom, boom, boom. Pilot. Like, there it is, pilot. Go to the description. Make sure she said what was true. Go to the description, qualifications, right? I don't know this verbatim, but there's a line there that says something regarding you have to be discreet. When you sign a contract with us to be a pilot, you must maintain full discretion. You cannot talk about this. Okay, so you're hiring pilots to spray the population, and when they work for you, they have to sign a contract that they can't talk about this ever again. You have to be fully discreet, and they're open about that right on the job application. Imagine what they do when you get the job. So I think these pilots know what they're doing, and it's kind of obvious in her secret audio interview with these guys that they do know what they're doing, and they don't care. They're making a lot of money. And for the people going, well, they got to breathe it in too. Yeah, no, I understand that. They love money. They don't care. And for the rich elite that they're also, why would they be running a spraying operation if they're breathing it in? Really, when's the last time you saw Bill Gates in the middle of your street? When's the last time you saw any of these leaders ever out in public? Do we know that they're breathing it in? I mean, we've heard about underground cities. We've heard about more land past Antarctica. Do you think that these multi-billion trillionaires are breathing this stuff in when they're in contract to spray that zone? I don't think so, personally. That's why I never see them. And now, even if they're in an interview, it's not hard to do with a green screen, and you could be anywhere nowadays and be live in an interview. So I don't think that, because that's like usually a fallback excuse for the public, where they're like, oh yeah, they're spraying us, but they're also breathing it in. That doesn't make sense. And I'm like, yeah, you don't understand that. They don't really have to breathe it in. On top of that, I got Dr. Andrew Kaufman in this film breaking down how us as humans detox. How do we detox from this? How do we get this stuff, these heavy metals out of our brain, out of our body? It's important, because it's not just that we're breathing in the poison. It's that the metals themselves, when they go into your body, yes, you're being poisoned like kryptonite, but there's more to it than that. It's replacing the calcium in your bones. It's replacing the heavy doses of this. Inhaling it is worse than eating it, by the way. That's a scientific fact. Inhaling it is worse than even eating aluminum. It's worse when you inhale it. But when you're inhaling it, it's replacing the iron, the calcium, the zinc, the good metals that we're supposed to have in our body to function. It's so much of it that it's replacing it, and that's why osteoporosis and arthritis and all these things are at an all-time high. And then when I looked at the brain effects by it, and Dr. Kaufman breaks that down as well. And by the way, I brought up Kaufman because he tells you in the film how to detox. There's things you can take. It's not expensive. Things God made that will get that out of your brain. You won't feel this weird cloudy headedness ever again. That's the metal taking over. When you wake up and feel cloudiness, or you feel groggy and weird just for no reason, you feel like you have no energy. It's the brain, the metal in the brain. You got to get that out. But there's many ways to detox. And he broke that down really well in this film. And I think that's important, because we need people to detox. And I think that if someone like Dr. Kaufman, normal guy, doctor, yeah, he was anti-COVID and all that, and got banned, and you know how that goes. But normal guy, if he knows how to detox, you don't think the elite would know how to detox? You don't think the elite would have preparations for, oh, we got to breathe this in this week? It's probably something they boop, and it doesn't affect them. So if normal everyday citizens know how to detox and have done the research, then these people that are running the show, they definitely would know how to get it out of their system as well. And they probably have something better that we don't even know about. So it's not really a fallback excuse for me anymore when people are like, well, they're spraying themselves, so that makes no sense. Like, no, you make no sense. That's not what's going on, in my opinion. But yeah, I had some great people that I sat down with in this film. Actually, Flat Earth Millionaire's in this too, if you guys have seen the levels. The cowboy in all my films, but that's my best friend, and he was the first to be an executive producer to give in and say, hey, let me put towards this budget. He just wants this made. Like, let's get this done. We have to get this information out, and we want to do it professionally. We want better cameras. We want better sound. We want the best. What can we do to accomplish this? And how can we get it on Prime? Because that is how we get it to the normal folk. Because it's not hard now. Again, you can even think about your neighbor that maybe thinks you're crazy for flat earth or chemtrails or anything, right? They're like, my neighbor's a loony. But guess what? If you tell your neighbor, hey, I saw this documentary on a website, climatetrails.com, you need to check it out. They're not doing that. I'll be the first to tell you, they're not going to a website to watch a film. But they will go to Prime. They will go to Prime. They're used to that. It's normal. And even to them, if it's on Prime, it's real, right? Like, it's got to be real. If it's a documentary, it's got to be true, because it can't be a conspiracy. Prime wouldn't allow it. So the reason I'm trying to attack that ad hominem is, and again, do I know that it's going to be on Prime 100%? Of course not. What the aggregator told me, which is very expensive to even get it on there, I don't even want to tell you how much. It's ridiculous, man. And a lot of waiting. I've been waiting for a long time. But the aggregator emailed me and said it could be as early as October 22nd. And I replied, I'm like, okay, as late as? Like, what's the as early as? If it's coming out on October, well, that's when they already submitted it to Prime. That's the date it's supposed to be released, is what they're saying, unless Prime rejects it, of course. So I look at it from this perspective. If Prime rejects it, I'm suing them. And I'm making it public, because they're not going to have a reason to reject this. We have whistleblowers from the military. We have biologist whistleblowers. We have doctors. We have, eyewitness testimonies. There is no conspiracy misinformation, especially in America. How can there be 34 states trying to ban this? 3 already have. If it's a conspiracy, you have to be able to put this on your platform. This is not something that, like Fluvid-19. Like I'm not stupid. I get why they wouldn't. If we submitted Fluvid-19 to Prime, no, there's no way. That would have been a waste of time and money. So as much as I'd want to sue them for not premiering Fluvid-19, I'm not an idiot. I understand why they would reject that, right? Especially during the peak of it all, during COVID, because it's just a flu. So I called it Fluvid. But at the same time, with climate trails, can't do that. You can't have these bills being passed, these governors passing them, and half the country is trying to fight this in their state. You can't call it a conspiracy anymore. This is real. It's happening. So I will go after them. I don't know what kind of challenge it's going to bring, but we're definitely going to do it. I'm kind of prepared, but I'm also being optimistic that it'll just air on Prime. And, I pray for that day, because now it's a whole nother marketing campaign, a whole nother game when something like this is available to the masses with one press of a button. It's so easy. And I think that we'll do very well if it gets to Prime. And I think that the executive producers are going to get paid back within a month. And now we can make it free. We can even change it on Prime. We can make it free on Prime, which we will. Well, we want this to be free. They just want their money back. They put a decent amount of money in.
Sean, where can people get it now?
Primetrails.com. Yeah.
Primetrails.com, and they pay, I guess, direct to you guys, which is
well, yeah. I mean, Vimeo takes, I think, 25%, but that's fine. We don't care. It's at climatetrails.com. You'll be able to rent it for $4.99 US dollars. I don't know what that is in pounds, but it'll be the same, I believe, on Prime as well, $4.99. But with it's Vimeo's even. I'd rather, like, in a perfect world, I'd rather have everyone go to climatetrails.com, because then make our money back quicker and we can make it free right away. Because Prime takes 50%. So it's
wow.
And that's
50% at $20 million is great, right? So
yeah, it'd be free before then. We're not trying to profit, man. It's weird to profit off stuff like this, and we don't want to. But it's 50%, and that's another reason I'm optimistic that Prime will let it go through, is because they want to make money.
Good stuff. Sean, a couple of things. Just with climate trails, what is it apart from aluminium that's in it? Tell us more about what they found. Tell us more about the motive. Tell us what it's about.
Yeah.
Push for time here as well. So
yeah, they found even more like zinc, some sort of chemical zinc. I don't know I forgot what they said it was called. Kaufman talked about it. They found strontium, which strontium is terrible for us. I believe strontium gets in the gut and it destroys it completely. It's basically like fireworks. So fireworks, they have a lot of strontium in it. Which, I've heard people, at least in the past, that, they get a little bit nauseous around fireworks smoke for a while. But I don't know. But barium as well. Barium's another metal they put in there. There's more metals that are coming out now that they're testing for. Put it this way: all the metals that they put up there are a two-part system. One, it's kryptonite. It's messing with your brain. It's messing with your immune system, your gut. It's doing everything. But the other part of that is replacing, like I said before, the metals in your bone. And when you look at the studies of, for instance, let's say 50 years ago, I say, hey, my grandpa has Alzheimer's. Wasn't that common 50 years ago? It's been common the last 30 years. But what if I told you it ain't grandpa getting it anymore? They've done tests, and I put these tests in the film, that 30 and 40-year-olds are getting Alzheimer's and dementia as we speak. Unheard of. That's unheard of. That should never happen. There should not be one case of a 30 or 40-year-old getting Alzheimer's and dementia and dying, but they are now. It's because of the metal getting to the brain. It's the same reason why we buy aluminum-free deodorant, because when you're using aluminum deodorant, you're literally blocking the toxins to leave your body. When you sweat under your armpits, especially if you eat a lot of meat, I'm just being honest, your sweat's going to stink, right? That's why we wear deodorant. That's a common thing, and we all do that, most of the world at least. And, when you're putting metal there, it's literally shielding it. You're saying, stay in your body. Toxins do not leave, which feeds the parasites even more, which is why, aluminum-free deodorant the sales are at an all-time high. I mean, it's almost in every grocery store in America, every Target, Walmart, anything you can think of. Any store has aluminum, at least one aluminum-free option, because the people have spoken. This is what they want. Amazon, same thing. You could buy aluminum-free deodorant. It's probably a bestseller because of that reason. People understand that you're shielding toxins. You need to get that out of your body, or eat better, or both. But at the same time, what are you doing when you're inhaling the aluminum? It's just bad from every angle. And I'm a filmmaker, guys. I'm no expert on this stuff. I learned a lot by interviewing these people. They're the experts. My job is to bring it to the public. I'm more of a flat earth expert opposed to chemtrails. But I learned a lot in this film, more than I ever thought I would learn. And it's hard to process, man, because how do we stop it? Well,
Sean, what is the main goal of it then? It's probably multifaceted, but is it just to kill us? Just to slowly kill the population?
It's hard to say. I mean, in a sense, it's to kill us slowly, but it's to make sure that we all end up with some sort of disease at the end of the day, where diseases are so common nowadays. People dying in their 50s and 60s are so common nowadays, and they don't want anyone investigating it. How'd they get this sick? Because if everyone's getting sick and it's becoming an earlier age, that it just becomes the norm. It's just normal. It's kind of like when you take your kids to a park, if you have children, just say you have, if your kids are vaccinated, I apologize for this, but just say you take your unvaccinated children to the park to play with kids, but all those kids are acting different. And I've seen this before with nieces and nephews and stuff who are unvaccinated, where they're looking back at us like, what's wrong with these kids? It's sad, but they're all vaccinated, especially in California, and they're all vaccinated. So the problem persists of the parents that are all there together. They all notice that all the kids are acting this way, and all the kids are speaking this way, or not speaking sometimes. It's normalized because they all share the same, well, this is just how kids are. No, it's not. You look at an unvaccinated kid, and they're already walking and talking early, and they're doing things that we all did. Like, it's normal. When you're getting, especially in California, it was like, I think California is like 72 doses before school starts even. You get 72 shots. Are you kidding me? 72 shots in the arm before school even starts? It doesn't make any sense, but now it makes sense on why these children act this way. And it's sad. It's sad to see because it's not their fault. But I think it's a similar approach with us inhaling it all. It's getting normalized, where eventually Alzheimer's, dementia, these brain diseases that are caused from aluminum and these heavy metals replacing it. And it's going to be the case where, our dads are getting Alzheimer's, not grandpas anymore. And it's gradually turning into that now, where they're normalizing it year by year. And they've been increasing the geoengineering chemtrails for a long time now. It used to just be once in a while. Now it's almost every single day you'll see them. And I know the UK just green lit. We're going to block the sun. We're blocking the sun. Green light project. And why they do that, in my opinion, is they're waiting for you guys to go protest and say, the hell, you're not doing that. And when they look outside and see nothing, they continue. That is, consent at that point. All they need is consent from the people. And consent is silence, right? Silence is consent. So if no one's raising hell over it, well, you just gave us permission. We're going to start blocking the sun, which is just their way of telling you now, especially with the revelation of the method. They told you they're going to be spraying you. They don't even deny what they're blocking the sun with. They're blocking the sun with metals. You know, they'll call it micro aluminum particles or whatever. It's just fancier words for it's aluminum. But there's other metals involved too. Anyone could do a rain sample. Anyone. It's not hard to do. Send it in the lab. $100. You get it back. You'll see it's real, and it should be zero. At least maximum in America is like 0.05, whatever milliliters, whatever it is per whatever. I'm not a biologist, but when you get 64,000, there's a problem there. I mean, even 1,000's a problem, and it's some of these tests are. It's unbelievable how much they're spraying, and it just sucks, man. Because like I have a little bit more hope in America than the rest of the world because of how it's ran state by state. It's a little bit different. Like you really can cross the border and have all new sets of laws. You know, and it's weird because I came from a state where guns are illegal, but marijuana is not. Now I'm in a state where guns are legal. Like I go the semi-automatic in my front yard, and the police will drive by and wave. But if I had a joint, I'm going to jail. Explain that. Explain that, though. No sense. Now, again, I'm pro both because I'm about freedom. Do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anyone, especially children. Do whatever you want in life, especially behind closed doors as well. But at the same time, that makes no sense. I can literally walk around my block with an AK strapped around me. Neighbors won't even care. They're like, how you doing today? They're not like, oh my God, what? California, though, if I did it in California, it's a whole nother ball game. As soon as I walk outside with it, I'm going to prison for almost life, probably. But in California, I can have 2 joints in my hand and the cop will wave. How you doing today? No problem.
We can't have either.
That sounds right. That sounds about right.
Sean, I'm a bit mindful of the time. I've got a couple of questions. And when you said earlier that you've got, I think, 34 states trying to ban it, does that mean now that America's going to do a different or complete different agenda? Because what would the point? Why would they stop it and we not, and have all these other places? What's the deal?
Yeah, I think like a lot of things in our history, it starts with America. If America just pretend because what I'm hopeful for is that, you know, just say all 34 states did it the way Tennessee did in Florida. Well, now there's pressure on the rest of the states, right? So I think it'll get done. All 50 states can have this ban within the next year. Just hypothetically. Within the next year, all 50 states ban it, but they're still spraying because that's federal airspace. So one clause that we talk about in the film as well, not to damper the idea of it being banned, it doesn't do shit. Because put it this way, the state border of Tennessee, call it, right? I'm bad with geography. I went to Chicago public school, so sorry. But whatever the state that borders, right? So you can look at a US map and see Tennessee. Obviously, the outline of Tennessee is Tennessee, right? So if you're standing in Tennessee inside those border lines, you're in Tennessee, right? That all makes sense. You're on the ground, you're in Tennessee. Legally, you're in Tennessee. What about above? 4,000 feet is all Tennessee is. Anything above 4,000 feet is now called federal airspace, which is why they're still spraying these states. So it doesn't matter if you ban it. You're still doing it. So the problem persists of, okay, let's just hypothetically, all 50 states ban it. Now the states collectively, because the states have more power than the federal government, guys. So if all 50 states ban it, but yet all 50 states go, they're still doing it. Well, now all fingers will point to the federal government and Trump administration and go, you guys are going to be held liable and we're coming after you at this point. And I think it'll get to that point. But then you got people like RFK Jr. who go out of their way to tweet, like this was 9 months ago. You can go to his official Twitter, but he tweeted a picture of chemtrails. I mean, they're chemtrails. It's all over. And he wrote, we are going to stop this. Yeah, okay. But he said it, right? He still said it. And that was hopeful to a lot of these Trumpers. We're like, see, they're awake, and no, they're not. They're playing games with you. They want you to know that they know that it's real, but they're never going to do anything about it. Because if I was RFK Jr. and I got into the Trump administration and I tweeted that, you know what I'm doing right after that tweet? I'm looking at Trump and I'm going, hey, the next chemtrail pilot that flies over DC here, I'm going to send the military to follow them until they land. And then we're taking them into prison, and we're going to keep doing this all week because they have to stop this. We're banning it now. None of that's happened. That's how easy they can stop it, and they won't. They won't do it. Doesn't matter if the state bans it. They're just hoping that all 50 states don't ban it. They can't stop that, guys. You might think that they can, but they can't. They can't stop all 50 states from banning it. And all 50 states ban it. Now all pressure is on the Trump administration or whoever's in office at that time. And I think it's a stepping stone process. And I think that America's taking the lead in that, where, hey, we're going to start banning this in our state. And as soon as they start spraying us, we're going to get the plate number. We're going to send a fine in. We're going to try to arrest whoever was like, they're still like Tennessee, especially, they're investigating these things. So they're taking it seriously, guys. Even though it's above 4,000 feet, granted, it's federal airspace, doesn't matter. They're still attempting to, send felony charges to these organizations. And it's just going to take time. It's going to take time. But it does raise awareness, does it not? I mean, it definitely raises awareness. It brings it to the local news stations. The bill got passed, no more geoengineering, and people at home, the sheep at home are like, what's that mean? And they look it up and they're like, oh, they're spraying metal. Oh, our nephew Tommy has been screaming chemtrails at us for 10 years. Maybe he was onto something. At least it raises awareness that people go, okay, this is a real thing. This is a real issue. And I think once America gets on board by doing these things and these steps, right, it's going to take a long time. But we're on the right path. And I think if we set that precedent, then the UK would follow at that point and, possibly try to piggyback off of what we're doing here. And, I don't know much about the UK in terms of like rules, regulations, how you change laws, bills. I don't know. I barely know my own country.
We don't. They just tell us what we're doing and we go, yeah, fine. And one of the things, Sean, is we were saying it's a long, slow death. And Nick over the back there said, and whilst it's a long, slow death, you're a pharmaceutical customer until you're dead. So it has multifaceted money angles.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. That's another thing too. Inhaling all these metals are going to cause disease, period, unless you're detoxing. And those diseases turn into doctor visits. Those doctor visits turn into big pharma prescribing you 5 different orange tubes, right, of pills. They're just basically ensuring that you're gonna, you're not gonna be here past 70 or 80 years old, and that's what they want. They don't want us here. I think the human being can probably live way past 100, if not 120, 150, if we knew how. And they have altered our food, our water. They've even, now I'm not trying to talk crap to meat eaters. I don't eat meat, but at the same time, they have flipped it. I had this, and the reason I feel this way is because I talked to my grandma before she passed. She was 98. This was years ago. But she told me that growing up in Chicago with her parents, they came from Norway, but eating meat was once a year. It was like a traditional type of thing. It wasn't every day. And the food pyramid kind of flipped with the Rockefellers. They flipped it on all of the world. They made meat on top. They knew what kind of diseases that caused, and they want to speed up death. They want the average, especially male, 72 years old, life expectancy. That's bullshit. It should never be like that. And I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad for eating meat. I'm not. It's just one example of how they control the narrative. They control the food pyramid. They control our water supply. They could put anything they want in the water and you wouldn't even know it unless you tested it, right? So if they have grip on all this, it's one of these things where it's like we have to get back to nature. We have to get back to reality of not relying on our governments, not relying on our states for anything, really. If you could live a life with your own garden, if you eat meat, your own cattle, whatever you want to call it, your own chickens, your own cows. That's up to you. But that's the life that we need to try to live, and soon, in my opinion, because, you know, if they shut off the electricity, all these little fear-monger things that we've all known about for how many years that they can do, well, you need to be prepared for if they did do that. But you shouldn't have to wait on that day. You should prepare just yourself and your family to live amongst nature and to live somewhere that's not, I mean, the big cities to me, especially in America, just get away from them. I know you guys aren't in America or in the big city in America, but which is why I left California. I was in LA, and it's all smart cities. It's all wireless, everything, 5G towers everywhere. And it comes to a point where, I mean, they're not only spraying us, but they're radiating us with microwave radiation. And then if you think about it, if you put aluminum in the microwave, what happens? So if we're breathing in aluminum and we're constantly on our cell phones, constantly zapping ourselves in our hand with Wi-Fi and 5G towers, we're just constantly, we're diseasing our own bodies. And I recommend every night, which is what I do. First of all, I'm always barefoot. You got to ground. You have to put your feet in the soil, feet in the grass, feet in the sand, feet in nature. That is going to heal your body. The Earth's ions are going to get in your body. We're batteries, and we're drained. That's why you have no energy by 3 o'clock. We're batteries, guys. We're batteries, and we're surrounded by radiation everywhere you go. Some people sleep right next to their modem. What? You're going to bed. Unplug the damn thing. What are you doing? You're zapping your body while you sleep, and then you're in a metal rotted bed frame. It's spiraling out of control. Why do you think they changed it to metal? It used to be wood back in the day. So all these things are preparing us for diseases that we can get away from. We can't get away from it all, but we can definitely help ourselves. And there's things called grounding mats, which my feet are on right now. But I also have a grounding mat on my bed. It's a fitted sheet that you plug into the ground. And as long as you are barefoot when you go to sleep, or naked is probably best. But what that's doing is what God made us to do: sleep outside. You're not supposed to be sleeping indoors on a bed. I know that no one wants to go backwards. We don't have to. They've invented these grounding sheets. So every night when you go to bed, now in your mind, you're on a comfortable bed. So you'll live. But your body thinks it's sleeping outside. And you're getting the same exact thing. That's why I always tell people, don't you feel great when you're camping, right? You wake up camping and you're like, man, I had a great sleep. Well, yeah, you're sleeping outside. Of course you had a great sleep. You're supposed to sleep outside. So I would recommend grounding, detoxing from the aluminum, which is in the film, because I'm not a doctor. So listen to him, because it works. And definitely, I'm one to sun gaze. Some people look at that as crazy or cuckoo, but not to me. You put your bare foot in the sand or the soil, the grass, and at sunset you're staring to that dark orange sun. It's healing you, and it's there. It's free. This is free, guys. All this is free to heal your body and to help your immune system and to help your mind as well. If you look at it from the Matrix perspective, I guess you're downloading codes from our creator at that point. This is how you have a conversation with our creator, through the sun, through the portal. But, you know, what would be taught in school? Number one, that thing's 93 million miles away. They push it as far away as possible. It's so important. No one can live without the sun, including plants and animals, and humans, obviously. But they push it so far away so you don't even think about it. But then they tell you, don't look at it. You'll go blind, which I'm still waiting on any report ever that someone was blind from the sun. But we just believe it, though, because it makes sense, because it hurts your eyes at first. You know why it hurts your eyes at first? Because I can look at the sun at noon without even tearing. Okay? You know why? The same reason that, Stone Cold Steve Austin can he walk in the gym right now and bench press 200 pounds? Sure. You know why? He's trained his body to do so. Your eyes are a muscle. You can train it to sun gaze. You can't, if you've never sun gazed, you can't look at the noon sun ever. Don't do that. It's the same thing. I'm telling you the same story. Walk in a gym and bench press 300 pounds right now. Can you do that? No. I wouldn't recommend trying to do that either. It's the same thing. You start with 100 pounds, and the 100 pounds in sun gazing is that sunset where it's dark orange. It doesn't hurt. And gradually you train your eyes. And now, I mean, when I was shooting in California with Catherine Sari, the chemtrail pilot exchanged viral lady, right? I told her the same thing. She didn't believe me. She said, there's no way. She'll look at the sun and, what do you mean you could stare at it? I can't even look in the direction of it. And I just go, whoop. And she's like right by my face, like looking at my eyes, like, what is going on? How are you doing this? You're Superman. I'm like, no. I'm like, it's years of training, but again, there's old remedies that work, and all the ancients sun gaze, all the ancients were grounding, all the ancients slept outside. And this is why we read stories of people living to 300 years old, 200 years old. It's nature, and God created this so we could be a part of nature. And these big cities have made sure that we are not a part of nature at all. Chopping down trees, putting up electrical ports, putting up 5G towers, Wi-Fi everywhere. They're anti-naturing our atmosphere. I mean, I'm sorry, our environment. We wonder why we die in our 70s. It's our fault. We're giving into that system where we shouldn't be. We should be fighting it, or we should be finding ways to go against that system. And there are ways, and they're all kind of resurfacing. They've been resurfacing since like 2015, these natural ways to help your body and your mind and your soul. But we're in a spiritual war, guys. This is a spiritual war that we're in right now. Don't let them win. And letting them win is making you feel like I'm more comfortable in my smart city life. Okay. All right. We'll see how long it lasts. Depends on you. If you want to live longer, if you want to live a good, healthy life, get the heck out of these big cities. Get out of them. Don't be scared to have to drive 2 hours to see family or friends. It's your life. If they want to come visit, maybe they'll want to move out there one day, somewhere small, more, nature around, trees, mountains, waterfalls, you name it. I mean, that's the type of environment human beings are supposed to be in, but we have been trained in a molested way, where we've been trained to think otherwise. Well, it's easier living this way. Yeah, it might be easier, but there's a price to that. And again, with aluminum in a microwave, it's just one of those things where I don't want to fearmonger, but I can't stop thinking about how easy it would be for them to crank up that 5G and just fry us. I mean, we all have metal in us, and we all have aluminum in us.
Try not to create that reality.
I don't want to create that reality. I want people to detox. I want people to get back to nature. I want people to move away from these cities that they're spraying a lot in. I mean, the bigger, I can only speak for America, but it's mainly the big cities that they spray. Big cities, smart cities, 5G towers everywhere. You have a choice. You can unplug your modem every night before you go to bed. I don't know why you don't. What are you downloading? You're sleeping.
Good point. Sean, I've got a question here from a social member.
Hello, Sean.
Hi.
Two very brief things, actually. The first one is on grounding mats. I use one, but I live in England where we've got 3-pin sockets. So obviously live, neutral, and earth. So ours go through the earth. Do you just go straight into the ground?
Yes. So they do make rods. You could even probably order some of those on I hate saying Amazon, but it's just easier. I feel like a hypocrite, but just go to Amazon and get so basically you plug it into the sheet. I recommend the sheet because then you're done. You don't need like a pad that's like on top of something and it feels weird when you go into bed. It's just the fitted sheet, queen size, king size, California king, whatever it is. You get the sheet that fits the fitted sheet, right? As long as your body's on that. But what you do is when you plug in the grounding cord, the other end of it's supposed to go right into the ground, which you guys are saying you don't really have. So what you would do?
Because we've got 3-pin, so ours goes into earth. But when I lived in the States, I had one which actually had to plug in. Literally had a copper wire that went out the window.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. So you could feed it outside, and what you do is you put that rod. Some of those rods you buy are long, and you put it right in the grass, all the way down deep into the soil. It's the same result, and you can get an EMF tester and test. I've done this too. I have taken my left hand off my sheet, EMF tested. It's going crazy. And as soon as I even, just one finger, as soon as I touch my grounding sheet, it goes to triple zeros. So your body is being protected from everything when you're sleeping on one of those. It's
They're great. And the other thing was, are you familiar with the British sci-fi program, Doctor Who? Have you heard of Doctor Who?
No.
Right, I just mention it because about the end game in terms of filling the atmosphere with metals is, you know how they like to put things out there in plain sight. One of the creatures that are like, you know, like the bad guys in this TV show are called Cybermen. And the Cybermen are metal, they're effectively like slave drone workforce made of metal, and they had human parts effectively. So I'm not entirely convinced about just the state of making people into pharmaceutical customers, because they've already got that. But I think that there's an element of, if you fill a human body with nanoparticulate, you have the opportunity to use frequencies to cause certain emotional responses, and certainly they can control crowds like that using frequencies. And so my sort of, I've just thought I'd throw that out to you, that if you haven't come across the Cybermen, as written many times in Doctor Who, and Doctor Who's one to watch, because there are all sorts of little truth bombs in there where they have put that out there in plain sight, and it seems to be coming to fruition.
Yeah, I'll ask my wife. I'm sure she's heard of it, being from Blackpool, so I'm sure she knows about that. I've never heard of it, but it doesn't surprise me. You know, they lie on the news and they put the truth in movies and shows. I mean, that's what they do. But yeah, frequencies, that's another thing that we really went over in Climate Trails with the NextRad towers. The NextRad towers are all over the world. They look like a kind of like a water tower, but a little smaller, like a sphere on top with things pointing up. And those are actually connecting to HARP. So HARP is in Australia, I believe. HARP is the main hub.
Yeah, there's even some near us here.
Yeah, and HARP will connect to these NextRad towers, and they emit microwave radiation. And so basically, I mean, as you guys know, wind is cold and hot air. So if you have just a zone where it's just cold air, because that's what God wants it there at that moment of the season, and they come in with their NextRad towers and they heat it up, and now they're causing storms and they're spraying particles. They're controlling the weather, as you know. But we break that down with the frequencies in the film, and we actually show you some Doppler radar with different filters on, where you can see the frequencies beaming. I mean, again, we pick on America specifically in this film, but you get to see the states and how they're beaming frequencies at all times, just frying the sky. And it's messed up because it's so consistent nowadays. It's almost every day. And I'll go on my social media and just see random people go, oh, I've had a 3-day headache, 3 straight days. And everybody's commenting, me too. What the heck? Me too. I thought it was just me. And it's like, then you look at the radar and you're like, well, that's why. So I think that they're trying to see what they can get away with. They're just testing everything out to not only see if the public reacts, and they look outside and it's quiet and they're just like, all right, keep going. Let's see what happens. But I think they're gradually increasing these things to see what happens. I mean, if you think about it, all of these swine flus and COVID-19, all these pandemics of our lifetime, or even in the past, if you look at what was introduced that same year, 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and COVID was 5G. Every time there's a new generation of frequencies that they're going to emit through cell phone radiation, all of a sudden there's a pandemic. Even AM radio, F to FM radio, all of these frequencies that they have emitted, there's always a pandemic. And I think that even though we know there wasn't a pandemic, they have to do that because they know that some people are going to randomly get sick because of this change. So they have this fallback excuse of there's a new pandemic, a swine flu, a pig flu, whatever the heck they make up. It's just to be safe, because then if half the population is getting sick the same week, oh, okay, the news said it was a pandemic, so I must have that flu that they said was going around. No, nothing's going around. The flu is the fall. Okay, think about trees. They have fall, right? The fall. All the leaves come off. That's seasonal. But we have that too, guys. We have our seasonal flu. The human being, you get that no matter what, right? Everyone, like, I'm not trying to gloat, but I get sick one day a year. And it's been like that for about 10 years now. Now, I've been blessed with a late mother that didn't vaccinate us as children. We never got vaccines, not one, zero total my whole life. So that benefits me in this story, but I get sick once a year and it's 24 hours. I don't look at that as, oh, I was just around Billy and he was coughing and now I got it. No, to me, none of that is real. Because as a kid, when my mom got sick, when she had hers, my brother got his flu, whatever, I would be in the room. Especially with my mom, I was a mama's boy. I'd lay in the bed with her. Mom, you sick? I got you some water and let's watch TV. You know, there was my mom wasn't like, get out of here. I'm sick. Get out of here. It never happened. Did I get sick because she was sick? No, my flu day is different. My fall is going to be different than hers. Now, generally speaking, if you're all in the same household, kind of like women on their period, it's a cycle where you can kind of all be connected to that flu season where the family gets it around the same time and links up. This is how nature works. Just like the trees, those trees over there the leaves are coming down almost at the same time because they're all around each other. It's kind of it's a group nature effect. But because someone's sick and you go up to them like, what's wrong with you? I have the flu. You don't run the other way. You're not going to get it because they have it. And they've done tests over this. They have injected stuff into people to get them purposely sick, and they don't get sick. Why? Because it's not their flu. It's not their time for the fall. Everyone has different time periods where this happens to them. Every year, every single year, you'll get at least one day of sickness. Even if you know it or not, you're going to get it because you're a human being. That's normal. But what happens is the mental state of mind. When you think you have something, it can extend for a week. It's the same thing. It's the same scenario to me where, if you sat there and I don't know who would do this, but if you meditated that you're going to throw up and you just sat there for an hour, you're going to vomit. I'm going to vomit. You'll vomit. You will. You just will. That's how strong your mind is. No, you're not sick. You will, right? It's kind of like the reverse effect too, where you're fighting it. I don't want to. Guess what? The times that you've done that, especially if you're drinking too much, the times you've done that and you fought it and you didn't vomit, same thing. Your mind is very powerful. You should have, right? Because you're sick and you've got alcohol and fast food in you at the same time, and you're mentally fighting it because you don't want to throw up, right? And you don't, right? The ones you win, at least. I know we've lost some in our lives. But the ones you win is because your mind is that strong. It takes over your body. But the reverse effect is true as well. If you sit there thinking you have COVID-19 all week, well, your 1 or 2 day flu is going to extend to that week because of your mind. It's the same thing. And it's group thinking as well. And then when no one can come visit you and you're sheltered alone and everyone's scared to come by you because you're sick, it enhances your mental state of mind too, that there's something wrong with you and that the news must be right. But the reason I brought all that up is because all of these generations of radiation they've introduced, from AM radio to 1G all the way up to 5G now, if you look at the dates of these introductions, there's always a pandemic that year. Never fails. They have to tell the public there's a new pandemic. It's going around because a lot of people are going to get sick from these frequencies that are being sent out, these new, stronger ones. And I believe that they're going to keep going. They're not stopping with 5G, unfortunately. But that's why I say, get the heck away from big cities, get to small towns where if you get bad cell phone service, you should live there.
Sure.
Sean, you might wish to know that last year there was a HARP experiment started in Canada, which was then continued at a large HARP station here in Wales. And oddly, and quite by coincidence, that very night, you could see the entire Aurora Borealis, which came right down to the south of England. And normally you might catch it in the very far north of Scotland, so maybe 1,000 miles away. But oddly enough, and it wasn't green like it normally is, it was various shades of pink, purple, magenta, but obviously a complete coincidence. Anyway, I've got another question for you here.
Hey Sean, thank you. I shall be watching your film because I want to know how to detox from aluminium because I should literally be thinking about it the last couple of days. I just wanted to know what your thoughts on fertility issues that this might create because we've seen a fall in our birth rate here in the UK. I don't know what it's like in the States, but yeah, have you looked into that?
Yeah, we touch on that in the film as well. We kind of break down, again, I'm not the expert, but we break down kind of the same scenario with, you talk about fertility, right? With the baby pregnancy. Is that what
Yeah. We've seen a fall in our birth rate here. So young people aren't.
Think about, if you're talking about the pregnancy of the woman and the fetus inside with all these metals, right? It's kind of the same scenario. The baby is growing inside the womb. They need mom's metals. Mom's metals are being replaced. So that's why miscarriages are at an all-time high, at least in America. It's sad, but it's true. You know, you can't grow without the essential iron, calcium, these metals that are helping the baby grow. And it's the aluminum and the strontium and the barium are replacing those metals. And it's harder. I mean, again, I'm not the expert, but we do cover this in the film. And I'd rather have you hear it from the horse's mouth.
Ladies and gentlemen, are there any other questions for Sean? No, Sean, listen then, if that's where we are, can you just tell us again, Sean, where we can all get that film? The trailer, that's out everywhere, I think, but the actual film you can get at climatetrails.com, $4.99, bargain.
Correct. Yep. And I've heard this so far that there's some people, some zones in Europe. I'm not saying it's the UK at all, but I don't know. I don't live there. There's some zones. I know Germany banned it. So Germany banned it from being rented. Don't ask me why. But there's some zones in Europe as a whole that you're not allowed to rent this film, unfortunately. I mean, I'm not surprised, but it sucks. But what I would recommend that, and I don't think this is going to happen to you guys if you go to climatetrails.com and try to rent it. But just in case it says banned or unable to be rented, get a VPN. Some of them are free.
Yeah.
I would recommend a VPN for anyone. So you don't want people spying on your computer. Seeing that you're searching Charlie Kirk fake death, you know, it's like, well, like I don't want people, you know, my government to know what I'm looking at. So get a VPN. But the small chance that it's not rentable in your country, in your zone, get a VPN, connect to America. You're good. That's it. It's that easy is the point. I don't like all these hurdles either. Trust me. I didn't expect this, but there are some countries that have banned it. And I'm sure that there's more that are going to continue to ban it. Once they see the footage, see the film, they're like, "Oh crap! We can't have this. We can't have this rented in our country." And it's obvious why not. There's too much truth in this one, but at the same time, it's worked. You know, I've gotten tons of emails from people from all over the world that are like, "It's not working." I'm like, "Connect to a VPN in America," and then within 10 minutes, they email me, "It's working." All right. Well, that's a solution. And I'm only saying that just in case something's wrong. But I do know people in the UK that have rented it fine. So it shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, the pre-release screener is on climatetrails.com. And then hopefully by the end of October, it'll be on Amazon Prime. You just type in Climate Trails. It should be there. And that's what I'm hoping for, because now it's a lot easier to wake up our neighbors and our family. It's just a lot easier. And I've never tried it this way, guys. This is the first attempt on something this big as Amazon Prime. I'm excited and I'm hopeful that it'll get there. And if it does, like my next passion project, I want to do a full documentary on the Challenger hoax, the Challenger explosion, NASA. But I also want to do it where that can also get on Prime. There's just ways to do it. You have to have receipts. You have to have exclusive footage. And put it this way, I know where these bastards live. Now, we have got to, I mean, I did Level With Me, and we did the challenge in the first 15 minutes of Level With Me, and we got Judith Resnick at Yale University. My guy camped out for 3 hours right on campus and saw every teacher but her walk through. And then he finally saw her and went right up to her on camera. That was kind of a lazy man's, gotcha moment. We're going to have a lot, if we do this next project in the next year, we're going to have a lot better strategy to get these people, these doppelgangers, right there to talk to you guys, right there to talk to the audience on you're caught. It's time to admit it. But yeah, I want to do a film on that because I think that from a strategical standpoint, that dissolves NASA completely. If you could sell the public on these people are alive, they have lied to you. This was a psyop. This was a mind control psyop for trauma and for people to play the heartstrings, the violin strings with, we love NASA. Let's give them more money to do CGI, right? But what I want the public to be aware of with this next project is, number one, while they lied about this is legit. That's a stepping stone in the right direction of destroying NASA forever, to literally bankrupt them from the public eye, because the masses don't need to know the Earth is a stationary plane to get on board with this, guys. They don't. This is a stepping stone as well that they lied about the shape of the Earth. But I think just making like a big flat Earth thing, which I still want to do eventually with a big budget down the road, but I'm all about strategies. Even the names of my films take me weeks because it has to be perfect. There's meaning to everything. And if I can have a full documentary, exclusive footage, crazy shit, like I'll ring Michael J. Smith's doorbell. I don't give a shit. Like, you come outside, dude. Okay, we'll wait till you go to the grocery store. I don't give a shit. We need to discuss this stuff because you've been caught and you need to talk about it. And obviously, if he runs away, like Judith did in Level With Me, well, it's up to the audience at that point. Well, why would they run away if it's not them? So we have ins and outs to make this film awesome, where it's holy crap, just mind-blowing documentary, where it's going to be super viral. And what happens is the public gets a hold of it and they can't debunk any of it. They're like, wow, they fake this. For once and for all, the masses will know this was a false flag. Right? Like, the people have accepted the Gulf of Tonkin as a false flag. There's certain things people accept as a false flag. I think most people accept 9/11 as a false flag. This is another one, but I think it's a stepping stone in the right direction where the masses know they made this up. They lied to everyone. And when they ask why, well, then they could watch the levels at that point. But, at the same time, I'm a realist with this project, though. Like, this can dissolve NASA once and for all. Not the Earth is flat. The Earth is flat. Yes, it is. But that's not going to get it done. They already have these campaigns against us to belittle us and to make it seem stupid. You can't make this Challenger hoax seem stupid. Not the way we're going to do this. No way. And if we do it correctly, it's going to be, I might not leave the house for a while after this one, but it's going to be that crazy that even someone wearing a mask today, alone, walking their dog, will not say this is bullshit. They're going to go like, holy crap, they lied about this, right? Even talking to people that was in school, I already have some context that they were in school when they rolled the TVs out to show them. Like, I want them in the film. I want to talk to them about the emotional trauma they went through. And it's all set up for this project if we get it done. So that'll be hopefully my next project. But I did start my own network. It's called the Enlighten Network, TEN. No more HBO. It's going to be TEN. So the Enlighten Network. I have a team now. I'm no longer a one-man show. Thank God, because you guys have no idea. Everything in film from A to Z was me up until last year. It was only me. And it's so strenuous. And then when no one wants to rent your film, you're back to eating bread, but you don't stop because you know there's a bigger plan ahead, that you're a soldier of God, that you need to do this. You need to make sacrifices to get to this point. And now that I have a team, and a good team, truther team, and my friends, and they all have experience in film and editing and directing and development and getting things on Prime. And I don't know how to do any of this stuff. We have a big team now, and it's going to be good. So this is my new network. This is technically Climate Trails it's not a Hibbeler production. It's directed by Sean Hibbeler, sure. But this is the Enlight Network's premiere film. And we're going to be continuing to make more films. We're going to be making, we have a live debate show we're starting in Atlantic City soon. We got projects going on. So I'm doing these side projects for the business side of the network so we can make finances. What am I going to do with those finances? Make the Challenger documentary. I don't have to have a GoFundMe and wait 8 months and take everyone's $5 anymore. We're going to be doing other projects to make money. Now that the profit I can take and self-fund a documentary. It's going to be beautiful. I've never had this opportunity. I've had to wait for everything, for the finances, for travel. Order was a heart attack and a half because that fundraiser was not moving, and I had like one flight done. Like I need like 6 more flights, maybe 7, to even start building this project, and the fundraiser just sat there, and I'm like, I can't eat, I can't make this film. What am I doing? And then of course, Flat Earth Millionaire Tanner just donates 10 grand, doesn't even tell me. I wake up to a $10,000 donation, and I called him. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Look, man, if the people aren't moving, I'm moving." He's like, "You got to get this film done. It's that important." And I'm like, "Stop giving me money. You're friends with me. This is weird." But, you know, true friends show up with, you know, in a situation like that. And I love him for that. But it's just a good feeling now that I'm preparing myself in the future of what I do and the films I bring to the public for success, for professionalism, for entertainment, for amazing moments, veritas moments, as they call it, where it's like, holy crap, I can't believe you did that. Yeah, that costs money. Everything is, I wish it didn't, man. Trust me, I wish it didn't, but everything costs money. So I'm trying to do it strategically where I don't want to rely on the people anymore. It's not, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing to say out loud, but I don't want to rely on the public to donate, you know, for me to be able to get a project done. It takes too much time, and it shouldn't have to be coming from you guys, the public. Everyone donate $20 so I can get this film. It's like, I just feel weird about it. You know, I feel weird. It's just not a good feeling that, so it's like now with this business and this new network, like we have other projects we're going to do on the side. Does it have to do with truth? Well, if you think debates are truth, they kind of are. We're eventually going to get a flat earth one on there, but it, you know, it can have truth involved with debates, and especially with the winners on the truth side. But at the same time, that's a project for money. When the money comes in, we're making these projects now, and nothing's going to stop us. We're going to continue to make these types of films until the good Lord wants me. And excellent. I told the Lord, I'll do this at 100 if you want me here. I won't get that long. Don't worry about that.
Sean, listen, I'd like to thank, on behalf of all of us here, for every film you've done. Every one that I've seen has got better and better and better and better. So from me, thank you. You've done some amazing work for us. I really hope the Climate Trails works for you. I know you're going to get a few more orders from this audience. And if you haven't seen any of Sean's work, Old World Order is a great film. Okay, it's probably the best because I'm in it. But other than that, Sean, listen, thank you so much, brother. Thank you for coming back and telling us about your new film. For now, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big Flat Earth Social. Sean Hibbeler.
Thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate you.
Sean, we love you. Good luck with your stuff in the future, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, guys. Bless.